MashaAllah.
Family good? They charged me with this.
Yeah, MashaAllah.
Let's see. Inshallah.
Representatives of the diplomatic corps, deans, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I greet you with the greetings of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're honored to have you have accepted our invitation to this auspicious event, which will mark the relaunch of the Maker Majlis, a platform for youth to address the most pertinent issues facing their faith and spiritual development. Thank you for gracing us with your presence tonight, and because of our happiness, we welcome you twice, marhabtain, to the Minaratain building. Good evening to one and all. I'm humbled to be your host for this event. My name is Al-Imān Amānah, and I'm the Community Engagement and Outreach Coordinator at the Minaratain Center, and a proud alumnus of Hamad bin Khalifa University, class of 2019. I would like to make this one right here. Can you hear us? Yes? Okay. I'm actually going to say something in Arabic, so maybe that'll make them their job a bit easy. Because I'd like to make some housekeeping points to keep in mind. First of all, ستعقد المحاضرة بالكامل باللغة الإنجليزية مع توفر الترجمة الفورية إلى اللغة العربية. يرجى إبلاغ متطوعين الطلاب والتأكد من حصولكم على جهاز الترجمة إن لم تكونوا قد حصلتم عليه عندما دخلتم هنا في قاعة المحاضرة. This event will be delivered entirely in English, and there is a simultaneous interpretation service available into the Arabic language, so please make sure you have a headset. And also, you're probably already hearing it, the buttons that are in front of you operate microphones for each of the audience members. So if you could please not touch those buttons for now until we get to the Q&A segment and the discussion section of this program, then we can be able to have you contribute to the discussion. And for those of you who are in the front row, we also have student volunteers here with handheld mics, and we will pass those along for you at the right time. We begin this evening with a beautiful recitation of the Holy Quran by a young man who grew up in and around the Minaratain building. He's a young qari and a hafiz of the Quran, mashallah, tabarakallah, and the son of our very own muaddin of the Education City Mosque. Please welcome to the podium Muhammad Ibrahim Khalil Ahmad for the Quranic recitation.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallahu khairan, Brother Muhammad, for this wonderful recitation. Now it gives me great pleasure to welcome to the podium the chair of the Maker Majlis, Dr. Mustafa Uthman Al-Amin, to officially kick off this event with his welcoming remarks. Dr. Uthman?
بسم الله Huda. They were young who believe in their Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we increase them in guidance. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have with us today the Dean of the College of Islamic Studies, Professor Recep Senturk, Dr. Al-Imān, Director of the Center for Muslim Contribution to Civilization, esteemed ambassadors and diplomats, and our distinguished guests. On behalf of the Maker Majlis Steering Committee and the entire CIS community, it is my privilege to extend a warm welcome to you, to all of you, as we gather here to launch the revitalized Maker Majlis program, now proudly operating under its new banner, Al-Imān Amānah, faith is a trust. This transformation reflects a seamless alignment with the vision set forth by our revered college, a vision deeply rooted in revival of Islamic values. In an era marked by relentless complexity of the modern world, our youth face a multitude of questions and challenges that put their faith, their Imān, to test. The Maker Majlis program emerged as a guiding light, a source of empowerment, offering our young community members a platform to grapple with these challenges and emerge with innovative solutions firmly anchored in Islamic principles. It is a program crafted by youth, for the youth, and its impact extends far beyond the boundaries of HBKU, Education City, to resonate globally. It is open for all of you and for everybody who is interested in this work. We will be very happy to receive any suggestion from your side. To introduce this remarkable initiative, I'm pleased to call upon Nuha Salim, our program coordinator, and a proud graduate of our college, who will provide further insight into this transformative journey. But before I leave, I would like to express thanks and gratitude of the Dean and the CIS community to Dr. Ibram Tok, the founder of the Maker Majlis, and to all of those who are working behind the scene to make this event successful. Wallahu al-Muwaffiq. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This is Noha Salim, and inshallah I'll be introducing the Maker Majlis. The Maker Majlis is a platform operating under the College of Islamic Studies at HBKU, where young global leaders can channel their creativity and innovative ideas towards solving social and global issues. Initially, our focus was mainly on using sustainable development goals as a framework. However, as we address global challenges ranging from environmental sustainability to poverty alleviation and social justice, it's evident that these issues are intertwined with the teaching and values of our faith. Recognizing this connection between faith and development, Maker Majlis has shifted its approach to underscore the pivotal role of faith-based solutions in addressing these challenges. In the Maker Majlis program, we blend education, engagement, and innovation. Our objective is to foster faith-driven solutions, supporting the youth by offering them a nurturing space to explore faith-based solutions to global issues. The pivot is anchored in our belief that faith is a vital pillar for each individual to uphold and a powerful catalyst inspiring youth to make difference in the world. Our vision encompasses a revived ummah with a generation of young Muslims who are firmly grounded in their faith and eager to make a positive impact to the world. Our mission is to prepare, guide, and support youth by articulating Islamically rooted frameworks to help identify and acknowledge challenges to their faith and to develop innovative solutions to deal with it. We're committed to closely work with our student communities in Qatar and beyond. We envision youth that are champions of climate change because they know that you should not waste water even if you are on an abundantly flowing river. Youth who are eager to seek knowledge and contribute to education because they know that the first verse in Quran is read in the name of the Lord. And youth radiating compassion, empathy, and selflessness, driven by the prophetic saying, "None of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself." Our aim is to nurture a generation ever ready to push boundaries, take one step further, and are driven by the belief that ihsan is the true essence of success. Thank you.
Thank you, Noha, for those remarks and for explaining the journey of Maker Majlis and what it's been revamped to. Now, to deliver his keynote entitled Al-Imān Amānah, please join me in giving a warm welcome to the Dean of the College of Islamic Studies, Dr. Recep Şentürk.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Excellencies, esteemed ambassadors, colleagues, and students, I welcome all of you to this very important event, launching a new initiative for CIS. And we titled this as Al-Imān Amānah, faith is a trust. Probably most of you visited Istanbul. There we have holy relics, Al-Imān Amānah, left to us from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are extremely well protected. But there is something more important than those amanat al-muqaddasa which Prophet Muhammad inherited to us. That's al-Imān. And al-Imān must be protected in a security much higher than those holy relics in the museum of Topkapı Palace. Why this is so important? What is this project? This is what I am trying to explain to you, inshallah ta'ala. These are two books published by a person, min a'immatul kufr, Richard Dawkins. He's one of the leading missionaries of the religion of atheism. So he wrote God Delusion and other books, to spread atheism. But recently, he wrote two books aimed at teenagers from the age 12 to 16, outgrowing God. Like children, as they outgrow their aspire, their cradle, they will outgrow God also, leave behind. As if, like faith in God is a childish idea, we have to outgrow and leave it behind. And another one, the magic of reality with illustrations. And the target reader group, teenagers from the age 12 to 16. So this is a good example that this professor from a respected university, University of Oxford, turning his attention to teenagers. Why? Because he thinks adults, they are set-minded. It's very difficult to change their minds. But children, they are still learning and growing. So let's influence them. So you see that this amana that we inherited from Rasulullah ﷺ, Iman, is under siege, is under attack, and needs to be protected. So this is just one example, and I can list hundreds of them. So in my speech, I will talk first about civilizational sustainability and why Iman is important for civilizational sustainability. And I will talk about what's Iman and why should we protect the Iman, and contemporary challenges to Iman and how we should safeguard it, and Iman as the ultimate goal of our creation. And at the end, I will provide a very brief, very concise, strategic action plan for civilizational sustainability by safeguarding Iman. So today it's very common, like almost all of us know, UN SDG, UN Sustainability Goals. And this was the topic for our Maker Majlis. But this sustainability paradigm is based on economy, society, environment. These are very material issues. However, economy cannot survive without civilization, without akhlaq, without Islamic knowledge, and without deen. So if we have the best economy in the world, but if we lose our ethics, morality, religion, civilization, what's the significance of it? So now we need to expand our sustainability paradigm from UN SDG paradigm focusing on material aspects to a broader, comprehensive and holistic understanding of sustainability, which I call civilizational sustainability. And in order for us to sustain Islamic civilization, we need to sustain, protect our moral sustainability, morality, because everything, economy, politics, family, education, everything depends on the existence of a very strong moral foundation. If you lose this, everything else collapses. But Islamic morality relies on Islamic epistemology, which is grounded in reason, sense perception, but more importantly, al-wahy, divine revelation. So unless we can sustain wahy, Quran and Hadith as sources of knowledge, our morality, our civilization will also collapse. Because this is what distinguishes us from others. This is what makes us stronger and more powerful compared to others. So everything relies on the sustainability of faith, sustainability of a deen. And our deen is a civilization. It's not just, during the weekend you go to church, attend the sermon and finish. Our deen covers all our life from everything. And in the College of Islamic Studies, when we say Islam, we mean religion and civilization. Religion is what we are given by Allah Ta'ala through wahy, and then the civilization, what we built based on these principles we are given in the Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ, like architecture, our economic system, our education, everything. So now we need to change our paradigm for sustainability from UN SDGs to civilizational sustainability. This is what concerns us more, because we are Muslims. Our sustainability of our religion, sustainability of our akhlaq, sustainability of our ilm. These are the foundations of our identity. If we lose this, then we lose ourselves, our identity. But what's Iman? Just to refresh our minds, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anh defined Iman as Al-Imān Ma'rifatun bil-qalb wa iqrarun bil-lisan wa amalun bil-arkan. So protecting Iman, protecting the qalb, protecting the discourse, and protecting al-amal, the practices. It's not something like abstract philosophical thing. So why should we protect Iman? Because Iman is the source of al-hayat al-tayyibah. And Iman also source of fawz azim, as our brother recited in the Quran. The biggest success requires Iman and hayat tayyibah, good life, decent life, honorable life, noble life requires Iman. If you lose Iman, you lose al-hayat al-tayyibah. And Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة. فلنحيينه يعني بالتأكيد. So Allah Ta'ala says, those women and women, if they are believers, we will give them a good life, an honorable life, a decent life. So today, as I have mentioned, using this example of these two books, targeting teenagers, there are some challenges against Iman, against faith. And these challenges, not only in Qatar, these are global. These are global. Alhamdulillah, we have ambassadors here from different countries. So it's not only for Qatar, it's for all countries, it's for the whole world, east or west. So today we live at the age of important challenge for proper religious education to our youth. The education we offer is based on taqleed, without teaching them the evidence behind, like why we believe in Allah, why we believe in Prophet Muhammad, why we believe in the Akhirah. So if they don't know the evidence behind this, this makes them at risk. Any challenge will destroy their Iman. And also, we have materialist science and education. This is pseudoscience. So those materialist scientists, they use science and education as an instrument to propagate their ideology, which has nothing to do with science. Like this guy, he's propagating atheism. What does atheism to do with science? But they use the authority of science to spread their secular atheist ideas. And they do this through science and education, as if you are atheist, you are scientific. If you are a believer, you are anti-scientific. This is nonsense. Like the Muslims have always been leaders in science, and they combine religion and science. And in our religion, doing science is for kifaya. So we have no conflict between science and religion. But this is how they present it. This is another source of challenge to Iman. And this education is the same everywhere in the whole world. They have the same curriculum, same content. Sometimes the names are different they use, but the content they offer is the same. There are different educational models, but when you look at their content, it's atheist, materialist, individualistic, secularist content. But they have different brands, so that's another very important problem. And this posters ideology, which spreads the idea that everything is relative, live your truth. If you feel good, do it. There is no common truth in the world. There is no common morality in the world. You have to construct your own truth, your own lifestyle. So that's another challenge. And hedonism. Hedonism is self-worship, worshiping yourself. You make your own decisions. You don't care about what other people say. You don't care about religion. You don't care about morality. So enslaved by desires, following your desires, turning them into your gods. If you feel good, do it. And another source of challenge is accommodation theology or inner secularization. So we have some Muslims or theologians, even Christian and Jewish theologians, what they do, those atheist secularists, when they come up with an idea or with a practice, they justify those in religious terms. They say, oh, we have it in Islam, we have it in Christianity, we have it in Judaism. They justify what those atheists produced and put a religious garment on it. So they say evolution. They say, oh, evolution, it exists in Islam, no problem. Interest, yeah, it's not haram in Islam. Everything that they come up with, they try to justify them. This is what I call accommodation theology or inner secularization. So their strategy, when they are not religious, when they leave religion, they stay inside. They stay inside to transform the community from inside. Another challenge, individualism and loneliness. When people are disconnected from their society, from their families, when they are lonely, spending time always with the internet, with the social media, with the games. So this rootlessness, this self-isolation is another very important source of atheism. It's a challenge for Iman. And the most important one is living the Sunnah lifestyle. Because faith and disbelief, they are not only intellectual. It is also social. The social environment is very important. How you live is very important. So either you live as you believe, or you start believing as you live. So if you live the Sunnah lifestyle, slowly you justify your lifestyle. That's another source of challenge for Iman. So these are the 7 challenges, and at the end of after I will analyze these things, I will offer my solutions to these 7 challenges. So first, let's start with the materialist science education. This is pseudoscience. Science has 2 components: empirically proven facts and their interpretations. But they are packed together. Both the empirically proven facts and their interpretation, they are presented together. And the youth are deceived as if those interpretations are also science. Like this atheist guy, he interprets biological discoveries as an evidence for atheism. But the atheism has nothing to do with the biological discoveries. But they use this, to justify and spread their ideology. So there is a story in Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi's Mehdi. He talks about the elephant in the room. That in a dark room, people touch the elephant and they touch different parts of it. And when they are asked to define the elephant, the one who touched the leg says, elephant is like a pillar. The one who touched the tail says, elephant is like a pipe. But then they bring light to the room, they see the whole thing. So the Islamic understanding of science is this holistic understanding, but the materialist understanding of science touches only at the material level of science. That's why I call it pseudoscience. But this pseudoscience is misused to deceive young people and to guide them or misguide them to atheism. And this posthumous ideology which is now spreading all over the world. They say there is no truth, there is no universal reality, there is no universal right and wrong. I call it opium of humanity, opium of masses. Because who says there is no truth? Someone who took opium, right? He says there is no truth. He says there is no right and wrong. So this is the opium for the whole humanity, and this is the danger for the whole humanity, not just for Muslims alone. And Karl Popper drew our attention to this. He said, the thesis of relativism leads to anarchy, unlawfulness, and the rule of violence. And this is what we observe in the world. And with the spread of this post-truth ideology, we will see more anarchy, more unlawfulness, and more rule of violence in the whole world. So this is the greatest threat to whole humanity. And even people in the West, they are now becoming aware of the dangers of it. So two articles I cited here, one in Washington Post, it said we must end the post-truth society. Another one in the Guardian, we are in a post-truth world with eroding trust and accountability. It cannot end well. So even they are aware of it, but this is spreading in our societies as well. So we have to deal with this as well. And the postmodernity actually is a natural progression of modernity. Because modernists, they were trying to deconstruct religion. And instead of religion, they came up with ideologies, secular ideologies, man-made secular ideologies. And postmodernity emerged as a reaction to those man-made secular ideologies, to deconstruct them, to reject them. But we Muslims, from the very beginning, we did not accept those man-made ideologies anyway. We did not accept socialism. We did not accept fascism. We did not accept like all these, modern secularist, atheist ideologies anyway. So why should we, go to this postmodern phase? We don't need to. So the postmodernists, they try to blur everything, make everything ambiguous, no clarity. They try to destroy all the existing categories, including men and women. So you tell them, believe in God, say, who's God? What's believing? They try to blur all the concepts, everything, so this ambiguity, and try to make everything liquid. So this is their goal. And during the 19th century, there was a war on religion. Those secularist ideologies rooted in Enlightenment, they were fighting against religion. And Nietzsche, in his famous statement, he declared God is dead. We killed God. Okay, you killed God, but then what you put in its place? Secular ideologies. But today, in the 21st century, things have changed. So today there is war on truth. So in the 20th century, Muslim thinkers, theologians, they were trying to fight against different secular atheist claims of truth. Like a socialist, they were claiming that truth is Marxism. And fascists, they were claiming truth is nationalism. And other people, they were claiming that truth is this. But today, things changed. Rules of the game changed. Now, the fight is against truth. So, no truth ideology. And our ulama and our intellectuals, they are still fighting against those old ideas of 19th century. This is shooting the dead horse. We should not shoot the dead horse. Now there is rule of the game changed, the war changed. Now we have to fight against this post-truth, postmodern ideology rather than the dead ideologies of 19th century or 20th century. So this war on truth is based on deconstructing all the categories, blurring all the facts, creating this ambiguity, and they call all religions and all ideologies as grand narratives constructed by hegemonic powers. And in some of their claims they are right, because those secular ideologies, they cause a big problem to humanity. It's true. They are man-made ideologies, but we are also against them anyway. We Muslims have never accepted them from the very beginning. So truth, this war on truth is not something new. There was a group of philosophers in the ancient Greece. They were called sophists. They deny truth. This is like more than 2,000 years ago. They deny truth. And the philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, they were fighting against them, trying to prove that there is truth. So it's a very old debate. But this debate, has now been revived in the post-truth era. So the same idea. Same idea was resurrected. So you see this ancient war on truth during the Greek period, then the war on religious truth during Enlightenment until the end of the 20th century. Now today we have postmodern war on truth. So we Muslims, we are not merely followers of the truth, but we are the guardians and defenders of truth. This is our duty. We have to defend Al-Haq. And Al-Haq, the truth for us, is Allah Ta'ala, the Quran, and our religion. It's our Iman. And today, the majority of the major religions in the world, they lost their fight against postmodernity, post-truth. So today, like atheism is spreading. In some countries, 75% of the people. In some countries, 50%. They reject religion completely. These are very horrifying statistics, and it's influencing Muslim world as well. So we have to defend the existence of truth, because those other religions, they cannot defend it anymore. They are losers. But alhamdulillah, we have Islamic intellectual heritage, which is very strong. We can defend it, and we should defend it. So material science, it's the elephant in the room. Like I had a friend, a professor from Jordan. He visited me once. I told him, "What's your research about?" He said, "I'm researching source of atheism in the Muslim world." I said, "What are the sources you have found?" He gave me a list of some associations, some groups, etc. I said, "My friend, you missed the elephant in the room. There's a big elephant in the room you don't see." He said, "What is that elephant?" I said, "This is the materialist science education. It brainwashes people. It's the most important and most common source of atheism in the Muslim world. This is what we are missing. Like those people, knowingly or unknowingly, they are undermining religion by spreading this materialist, atheist understanding of the world." So the current educational and cultural environment is heavily influenced and shaped by postmodernity, materialism, skepticism, subjectivism, relativism, and individualism. So as I have mentioned, this postmodern framework blurs the lines between objective truth and subjective interpretations. But this post-truth idea has lots of inconsistencies and fallacies. So post-truth ideology, they say we want to deconstruct everything, and we are not an ideology. But they have a future vision. They want to construct a world, but at the same time they claim that they are against building like ideology or a new world system. So my question to those who defend post-truth, is post-truth really truth? If they say it's truth, oh, that means there's a truth you accept. If they say no, it's not truth, then why should I care about it? Yeah. And the same way, they use social constructionism as a method. Everything is social constructed, culturally constructed. So my question to them is, social constructionism is also social constructed? If they say yes, then why should I care about it? Why are you superior over others? Why should I prefer? See what I mean? If they say no, okay, then you accept something which is not socially constructed. And also, there is this famous dilemma of relativism. When you say everything is relative, is this statement also relative? If it's relative, why should I care about it? If it's not relative, that means you accept something which is not relative. So it's full of fallacies, but the young people, they get deceived by these ideas because they cannot notice all these fallacies and inconsistencies. And this postmodern period, when they are disconnected from God, from any permanent source of guidance, from any stable reference to decide what's the right thing to do, they are left only with their pleasures. So if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in the Quran, if you don't believe in Hadith, how do you decide what's the right thing to do? The only criterion you have is your pleasure and interest. So this is what you call hedonism. Hedonism in the Quran is introduced as istihwa shaitan, seducing of the shaitan, making people follow their hawa. And Allah Ta'ala, mentions this. أَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Okay? So you have a choice. Either you worship your desires or you worship Allah Ta'ala, your creator. The choice is yours. So this postmodernity is based on this hedonistic approach. Making people follow their desire. So they say, if you feel good, do it. They said, kill the police in your mind. Live your truth. Just enjoy it. So, because they have no stable and permanent reference point to decide what's right and wrong. So they are left only with their feelings. And feelings are very changeable, not stable. And they present hedonism as a liberation, as a freedom. Actually, hedonism is ibadatul shahawat. Ibadatul hawa. It's not liberation. Real liberation is liberation from slavery of desires. That's real liberation. So Muslim scholars, they call the people who are enslaved by their desires, people who are following the religion of their hawa, people who turn their hawa into gods, and they call it Al-Imān Amānah. And the An-Nafs al-Mutma'inna is controlled by Aql, and the An-Nafs al-Shahwaniyya is guided by Aql, by reason. Now these are the challenges Iman is facing. What are the solutions? Okay? So I mentioned in the beginning of my talk 7 challenges, 7 sources of risk that undermines the faith of the youth. Now the solutions I am offering. First, instead of offering religious education based on taqlid, blind imitation to our youth, we should offer proper religious education leading to tahqiq, evidence-based faith, evidence-based religion. That's the meaning of tahqiq. And Islamically, the purpose of education is to elevate the students from level of taqlid, blind imitation, to level of tahqiq, evidence-based knowledge. So you know like why you believe in God, why you believe in Prophet Muhammad, why you believe in the Quran, why you believe in Akhirah, why you make Salat. So this, like you are immunized. And when you face any atheistic propaganda, it's not going to influence you. But if you're not equipped with this kind of education, as soon as you hear something, tashwish, you get confused, not knowing how to respond. So the first responsibility is on us. We have to give our young generation proper Islamic education. And this is how it was before. But today it became very superficial, very subtle. We want like taysir in our Islamic education, but taysir yuaddi ila tasbih. Everything becomes superficial under the pretext of making everything simple. So the second important issue, this materialist science and education, we have to give comparative and critical education. Okay, we have to give like modern Western atheist versions, but as for Islamic version. So this materialist guy, he thinks this biology proves absence of God. Okay, give him the example of other biologists who argue that new discoveries in biology proves existence of God, because there are two kinds, right? So teach them both Marx and Ibn Khaldun at the same time. So this comparative and critical perspective is very important, rather than offering one-sided materialist science education. So post-truth ideology, we have to replace it with multiplex worldview, based on our understanding of maratib al-ilm, the multiplex epistemology, that we accept empiric knowledge, rational knowledge, and also knowledge derived from wahi. We have to replace with this perspective. And hedonism, which is worshipping desire, is another version of atheism. And we should promote taqwa, self-restraint, self-control. We should teach our children this, because most people who are guided to atheism, they are not guided for intellectual reasons. Most of them are guided or misguided by their desires. They have these habits, they are defeated by their desires, then they justify it using some intellectual arguments. And this accommodation theology and inner secularization by some of the pseudo-Muslim intellectuals, they are deformists, but they present themselves as reformists. So we have to reject tahrif, tampering with religion, and bid'ah in aqidah and amal, by following rooted revival, al-tajdeed al-mu'assar perspective. So no tajdeed without ta'zim, no ta'zim without tajdeed. So rooted revival, al-tajdeed al-mu'assar, this is the way to go. Al-tajdeed بدون ta'zim يؤدي إلى تحريف. التعسيم بدون تجديد يؤدي إلى تجميد. So we have to follow what our scholars, as-Salaf as-Salihin, did in the past, respond to the emerging challenges and study all the new trends and respond to them. And also individualism and loneliness. Allah Ta'ala in the Quran orders Kunu ma'as-salihin, Kunu ma'as-sadiqin. Why? Because when you are alone, you are in danger. Against shaitan, against wasawis, against all these dangerous ideas. But if you are surrounded by good friends around you, you benefit from their software, from their fellowship, from their friendship. So, like a family, peers, social cohesion are very important in this regard. And also, we have to revive the authentic Sunnah lifestyle. Practicing a Sunnah as-Sahihah of Muhammad ﷺ, because faith is not only an abstract intellectual thing. Faith is based on al-amal. So if you leave amal, iman cannot survive. If you want to protect your iman, protect your amal. So the ultimate goal of our creation is explained in the following words: وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And Ibn Abbas said, لِيَعْبُدُونَ معناه لِيَعْرِفُونَ. So worshiping Allah means knowing Allah Ta'ala, ma'rifatullah. But ma'rifatullah is very important. It's the foundation of everything. It's the foundation of knowing yourself, knowing the whole creation. Because what happens when you forget Allah Ta'ala? What happens when you don't know Allah Ta'ala? This is the highest level of ignorance. And also not realizing the purpose of creation. So faith is a trust and amana for us. It is handed down from Allah to Rasulullah ﷺ, and it's an amana from Allah, amana from Rasulullah, and amana from as-salaf as-salihin to us. And the iman of the youth is amana for the ulama to protect. So Allah Ta'ala mentions amana in the Quran. He says, I offered amana to heavens, to earth, to mountains. They said, oh, this is very difficult, we cannot carry it. But human beings, they accept it. So what's amana? Amana is al-deen. Amana is al-iman. Amana is al-taklif. Our responsibilities as human beings. And this amana is given to us by Allah Ta'ala. And we have to protect it the way it deserves. So this amana given to us by Allah Ta'ala, taught to us by Rasulullah and transmitted to us by as-salaf as-salihin until today, it includes iman. Iman is amana, Islam is amana, ihsan is amana, our self is amana, our body is amana, our mind, our soul, the Quran is amana, and these things are all under attack. Hadith is amana, family is amana, our children is amana, earth is amana. These are all under attack. But the essence of everything is the iman. And if it's lost, everything else is lost. So in conclusion, I would like to remember Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun says that civilizations rise and fall. But this rise and fall not merely based on material power. Civilizations rise and fall, when they lose their moral foundations, when they lose their religion, when they lose their akhlaq, then civilizations fall. Not only for economic reasons. So faith guides actions. So if you lose faith, you have no guidance for your actions. It ensures accountability. Because you believe in Allah, you are accountable in front of Allah. You believe in the Akhirah, you are accountable in the Akhirah. And promotes a collective sense of purpose and direction. A civilization disconnected from its spiritual values becomes susceptible to moral decay, fragmentation, and eventually decline. That's why civilizational sustainability must be our top priority. Not just trying to protect economy and environment, etc. They are very important, but civilizational sustainability based on protection of the faith should be our goal. Because Allah Ta'ala warns us. He says, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. So we should not forget Allah. But this modern, postmodern, secularist, atheist ideologies, they try to make us forget Allah. And when you travel to West, to America, to Europe, you see what happens to those countries when they forget Allah Ta'ala. The consequences are bad, very dangerous consequences. So if you don't want to face those consequences, we have to always remember Allah Ta'ala and teach it to our young generations. So at the end, I would like to finish by my suggestions about strategic plan for civilizational sustainability. Okay, this is not only for Qatar, this is for the whole Muslim world and for the whole world against this postmodern attacks to Iman. First, proper religious education leading to tahqiq, evidence-based faith. Second, comparative and critical education. Third, multiplex worldview. Fourth, taqwa, promoting taqwa, self-restraint, self-control, so that our new generations are not enslaved by their desires. And then rooted revival, at-tajdeed al-mu'assar of the Ahl Sunnah, and sixth, social cohesion. التماسك الاجتماعي, family, peers is also very important. And the seventh, revive the authentic Sunnah lifestyle of Quran Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in particular the futuwa, the muruwa, this akhlaq of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam based on ithar. And he said, بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. This was his project, and this should be our project as well. لا إيمان لمن لا أمان له. So akhlaq and iman, they are teams. They must together. So if we lose our akhlaq, we lose our iman also. So these are my 7 suggestions for a strategic plan for civilization sustainability. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan for your attention. Jazakumullah khairan, Dr. Recep, for sharing your thoughts. And I think you've unpacked a lot. But the title maybe is a very good summary that, Al-Imān, faith is a trust. We would like to take this time now to open the floor to some questions and also to have a bit of a discussion for Dr. Recep to respond to. And we will start with the front first because they don't have mics and we will have to pass the mics to them. And then I've seen some other hands in the back and we'll definitely make sure to go to you as well. Yoda, mind? The microphone.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدي مولاي محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. معكم أختكم عائشة البناعي، مديرة مركز إسهامات المسلمين في الحضارة بجامعة حامد بن خليفة تحت مظلة كلية الدراسات الإسلامية بقيادة الدكتور الفاضل العالم الدكتور رجب. جزاك الله خير دكتور. وهذا فعلا مشروع متميز إن شاء الله بإذن الله، وإن شاء الله نكون معكم في كل أمر من هذه الأمور. الآن بالنسبة للأمانة حقيقة أنا أنظر إليها ليست مفهوم، طبعا هي مفهوم أخلاقي 100%، ولكنها ليست مفهوم سلبي، إنما مفهوم إيجابي ولكنه مفهوم سلبي، بمعنى أن هذه الأمانة ترك كل ما يصادمها أو ما يعارضها. لذلك قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم: لا إيمان لمن لا أمانة له. والرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم ذكر لنا في الحديث سيدنا جبريل كلنا نعرفه بأنه عرف الإيمان أولا، مجموع الدين الإسلامي، الإيمان أولا ثم الإسلام ثانيا ثم الإحسان ثالثا، وطبعا هذا سنام الدين الإحسان، ولكن الإيمان رقم 1 لأنه فعلا هو في القلب كما ذكرت الدكتور، هو في القلب فعلا ويصدقه العمل. إذن فالإيمان لابد أن يكون وراءه عمل لكي يكون صادقا، وهذا الإيمان هو الأساس، هو كما يسميه علماء النفس هو الدافع، هو الذي يدفع الإنسان للعمل. إذن فالإيمان فعلا هو أساس، وهو الأساس أو الركن الأول في الدين الإسلامي، ومن غيره لا يمكن لا أن يكون هناك إسلام بمفهوم أركان الإسلام، ولا يكون هناك إحسان على الإطلاق. وطبعا نحن تعلمنا في مسألة الأديان بأن كثير من المتخصصين والعلماء يقولون بأن المتخصصين في الأديان يقولون بأنه لا توجد أمة من الأمم في هذه الحياة الدنيا دون، قد يكون حتى وصفوا له بأنه قد تكون كالمدينة، لا يمكن أن تكون هناك مدينة، قد تكون هناك مدينة بلا أسوار، ولكنها لا يمكن أن تكون هناك مدينة بلا دين، بمعنى الإيمان بقوة ليس يعني ما وراء الطبيعة وما وراء هذا الكون، لابد أن يكون هناك قوة ما، هو الله، هو يعني حجر، هو شجر، هو حيوان، هو أي شيء. المهم أن هناك ما وراء الطبيعة هناك أمر قوي يرتكز عليه الإنسان، وهذه هي غريزة الإنسان الطبيعي العادي. أما الملحدين فهذا أمرهم حقيقة أمر آخر، حتى قيل بأن بعض الكتاب قال بأنه لا يوجد إنسان ملحد على الحقيقة، لأنه عندما تختبره ستجده يؤمن بشيء ما، قوة ما. هذه القوة قد تكون الله، قد لا تكون الله سبحانه وتعالى. وهذا يعني لا أطيل، وهذا ما ذكر عن سيدنا إبراهيم في الآية الكريمة: فلما جن عليه الليل رأى كوكبا قال هذا ربي. فهو يتدرج حسب يعني أفهام الآخرين، يتدرج في أن هناك وراء هذا الكون هناك شيء. هذا الكوكب قد يكون هذا الكوكب أفل وزال، إذا لا يصلح أن يكون إله. هناك القمر وأفل وزال، إذا لا يصلح أن يكون إله. هناك الشمس وهي أكبر وأفلت، إذا لا تصلح أن تكون هي إله. إذا الإله شيء آخر هو الله سبحانه وتعالى. شكرا جزيلا لك، وشكرا جزيلا لجميع السفراء الذين حضروا والشخصيات الأكاديمية. جزاكم الله خيرا على حضوركم، وشكرا جزيلا.
Because of the translation, I will speak in English because they are translating. Thank you very much. Especially, I'm very happy to hear that you said "nekun ma'akum," and I'm very happy that they have so many ambassadors with us. That means that they will also with us in this project, inshallah. And Dr. Mustafa, mashallah, he established this kind of coalition. This is Iman coalition. This is Haq coalition against people who are against truth. And I believe a new dividing line is emerging in the whole world. Those who believe in truth, those who believe in ethics, those who believe in values, and those who deny truth, deny ethical values. So probably in 10, 20 years in the whole world, this will be the dividing line in the whole humanity. Now I see some Christian denominations, they reject post-truth, but some accept, and they want to make a coalition with Muslims because we reject post-truth. So probably at the end, those who accept the truth, this is an epistemological statement, based on social constructionism, that there is no truth. So we have to deconstruct that idea also, inshallah, all together. And as you said, like people worship something, the postmodern God is Al-Hawa. And the postmodern civilization is Nefsul Amānah civilization, Hawa civilization. Worshipping the desires, making Hawa the only thing to follow. So this is a new religion, although they claim they are against all religions, but they obey, their desires the way we obey God. Similar.
Are there any other questions from the front row before we go to the back? Your Excellencies, anybody here in the front row? We have the microphone right here.
السلام عليكم. اسمي نور المالكي. أحب أشكر الدكتور على المشروع المهم، لكن أنا أعتقد أنه كبير جدا، too big. يعني يحتاج إلى تحديد أهداف قصيرة المدى. أنا أعتقد أن قضية البدء بالتعليم الديني قضية أساسية. أنا من جيل قطري تعليم الديني كان قوي جدا، ولله الحمد يعني ساعدنا حتى واحنا كبار. انا اعتقد ان الجيل اللي موجود حاليا لا يتمتع ما عنده بنفس الاساس او الفاونديشن. بما ان المشروع من قطر فلازم يبتدي بانه يكون البايلوت بروجكت مال قطر، وقضيه يعني ان احنا نعيد النظر في التعليم الديني ونؤسس في التعليم الديني من الطفوله على اساس ان هذا هو الاساس. ليس الاساس هو اللغه الانجليزيه ولا اي شيء اخر، هذا هو الاساس، لان هذه اساس يوديك جنه او نار. ما راح يعطيك وظيفه مرموقه، انما يؤديك يا الى جنه يا الى نار. وهذه المنطلق اللي احنا نحتاج ان احنا نتكلم فيه لما نتكلم عن التعليم الديني. القضيه الثانيه ايضا في التعليم الديني او في التعليم عموما قضيه المعلم. من يعلم؟ انا اعتقد ان احنا كمسلمين نهتم جدا باختيار المعلم، وحتى يعني التراث الاسلامي كله قائم على يعني في الحديث مثلا في تحقيق الحديث المسلمين الاوائل تاكدوا من النقل من ينقلون عنه. الحين احنا نترك اطفالنا ونترك اجيالنا لمن لا نثق فيهم، اللي لو طرق عليك باب بيتك ما تدخله بس انت تحتيك قطعه منك يعيد تشكيلها. فانا اعتقد يعني الموضوع كله صراحه جدا مهم، لكن انا اعتقد هو التاسيس لخطوه اولى، والخطوه الاولى لازم تكون التعليم واختيار المعلمين. وانا اعتقد ان موقعكم داخل يعني داخل المدينه التعليميه يعطيكم قوه ان انتم تبتدون ببرنامج قوي. شكرا لك.
شكرا جزاك الله خيرا. ما شاء الله. يعني you want us to talk about the action plan, but my purpose here was to set the framework, like what we are doing and why we are trying to do it, inshallah. So the next step, we'll have like agenda items. We'll make like the short-term goals and the full mid-term goals and the long-term goals, inshallah. And we are open to your suggestions, to your ideas, inshallah. And as Dr. Mustafa said, and as I also said, we are open to your suggestions, to your ideas, because this is a common thread for the whole humanity, not for us. But inshallah, we hope that people in Qatar will play a leading role in this, inshallah, from Qatar to the Ummah, from Qatar to the humanity, inshallah.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اسمي موسى من غامبيا، نائب سفير جمهورية غامبيا، وخريج المعهد الديني في قطر، وخريج جامعة قطر أيضا.
ما شاء الله، من قطر. شوف من قطر إلى الأمة.
اليوم اختتم اجتماع وزراء ثقافة في العالم الإسلامي.
لا الصوت مش
Just bring it close to you, sir.
قرب.
اوكي. اليوم اختتم اجتماع وزراء الثقافة في العالم الإسلامي. واطلعت أو استمعت إلى الندوة التي أقيمت بالأمس في شيراتون، وحضرت جلسات هذا الاجتماع الذي ضم مجموعة كبيرة جدا من وزراء الثقافة من العالم الإسلامي، منهم غامبيا وغيرها من الدول. كنت أتمنى أن يطرح هذا الموضوع ضمن أجندة اجتماع وزراء الثقافة من العالم الإسلامي. الإيمان كثقافة لدى الشعوب الإسلامية، والأمانة أيضا كثقافة لدى الأجيال في هذه الشعوب الإسلامية. والعمل كبير جدا إن شاء الله. أتمنى لكم التوفيق، وأن يتسع المجال في أن تكون الإيمان ثقافة متأصلة ومتجذرة في نفوسنا نحن كشباب في العالم الإسلامي، وكذلك الأمانة التي جاء في بالي الآية: وإذا بالدكتور تفضل بها إن عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين يحملنا. إذن الإيمان كثقافة، والأمان أيضا كثقافة إن شاء الله. وشكرا جزيلا.
شكرا جزيلا. نحن لعبنا دورنا كعلماء، يعني أدينا وظيفتنا إن شاء الله كعلماء نأتي بأفكار دور رجال الدولة مثلكم التنفيذ إن شاء الله تعالى. So like we as thinkers, scholars, our role is to draw attention, to possible risks and dangers. We are not in the position of implementing. So ministers of education, culture, they will, inshallah, benefit from these ideas and turn it into actionable politics, like policies, cultural policies, education policies. Sometimes I meet those ministers. I ask them, give me 3 principles of your country's education policy. I tell them, give me 3 principles of your country's cultural policy. Nothing. So inshallah, these principles I listed, they may serve very well as foundation for a foundation for cultural policy, education policy. So this is a very holistic. We are not rejecting those like material aspects. So economy is important, environment is important, like politics is important, but we need to put it in a broader framework. This civilization sustainability, inshallah. And Hifzuddin is one of the major tasks of the Dawla. Hifzuddin, inshallah.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أخوكم دكتور مصطفى السفير الجمهورية التركية. قبل كل شيء أشكركم على إن شاء الله. قبل كل شيء أشكركم على هذا المشروع اللي هو مجلس المبدعين ميكر مجلس. قبل كده أنا حضرته حتى نتكلم نحن في موضوع الزلزال الذي حصل في تركيا. اليوم دعيت على هذا. الصراحة هذا العنوان أثرني كثيرا، لأن نحن في الأمة الإسلامية لازم نقوي إيمان. إذا كنت تؤمن يكون عندك شجاعة، تكون تتوكل على الله، تكون لا تتضرع إلى غير الله عز وجل. ولذلك أنا أشكر جدا جامعة حمد، ما شاء الله يجمع من فئة من الناس بحفاوة القلب، بسعة القلب، وكل هذا يستطيع أن يتعلم هنا. ونشكر دكتور رجب جدا لشرح هذا. أنا أحفظ القرآن كان عمري 11 سنة، ولكن اليوم لما قرأت قول الله عز وجل يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم. هل في شيء أكثر من هذا؟ جزاكم الله خيرا ونشكركم على هذه الدعوة. جزاكم الله خيرا إن شاء الله.
We have a hand up over there, so you, sir, you have the microphone right here in front of you. If you just press those buttons and speak into them. Yes, and then there will be the gentleman right behind you, and then the lady right there. So please, let's try to, in the interest of time, try to make it concise. جزاكم الله خيرا.
شكرا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معكم أخوكم دكتور وائل شديد. حقيقة هذه المحاضرة لفتت النظر بشكل كبير جدا. كل الشكر والتقدير للدكتور رجب ولمركز المبدعين أو مجلس المبدعين ولجامعة حمد. الحقيقة أنتم لمستم موضوع هام جدا، وخصوصا نحن في عالم الإسلامي وما عانته في السنوات الأخيرة أو في العقود الأخيرة. فيصير من الشيء الطبيعي الحقيقة إن كثير من الناس في الأمة الإسلامية يشعرون بشيء من الانهزام لأن نقلد القوي، نقلد دائما الكسبان. هذه طبيعة الحياة بهذه الطريقة. الحقيقة دكتور في هذه المبادرة التي تحاول أن تحيي الأمور وذات النهضة والحضارة من جديد، غطيتم جانب مهم جدا في قضية الثغرة والفجوة التعليمية، وما طرحتم من 7 مبادرات حقيقة رائعة جدا في تغطية هذه الثغرات. لكن الحقيقة أنا أعتقد إنه حتى نخرج من عالم الأكاديمية، لأنه تعرف أن دائما الأكاديمية نريد أن نجسر بينها وبين الواقع، نريد أن يكون هناك فريم ورك عملي، يعني براكتيكال فريم ورك حتى ينزل على الواقع، وبالتالي نستطيع أن نجسر اللي هو ما بين ما يطرح في الأكاديمية وما بين الواقع. ما طرحتم الحقيقة من مبادرة مقدرة بشكل كبير جدا، وأنا أعتقد أنه مهم جدا قضية استرجاع الحضارة وإعادة النهضة الإسلامية من جديد. نحن في الحقيقة كما تعلم نحن ورثنا الحضارة، احنا مش نيو كومرز للسيفيلايزيشن والحضارة، لا احنا أبناء حضارة الحقيقة دامت يمكن 1000 سنة أو أكثر. بناء عليه نريد فعلا أن نساهم في تشكيل الحضارة الإنسانية وليست الحضارة الغربية، لأنهم بالفهم الغربي كما تفضلت وكما نسمعنا كثيرا هم بيعملوا احتكار مونوبولايزيشن للحضارة، فهم الحضارة عندهم، الآخرين هي ليست حضارة وهي قد تكون رجلية. لكن الحقيقة أنا بدي أطرح مبادرة باعتبار أن كنت أدرت مبادرة من أجل استعادة النهضة ويعني to contribute to the human civilization يعني نسترجع أيضا النهضة. هنا لابد أن نركز على الشباب. يعني كما تفضلت الأخت نور المالكي حقيقة كلام جميل، نحن الجيل القديم الحمد لله نحن بالستابلش ما فيش عندنا يمكن مشكلة كثيرة، لكن هذا الجيل القادم يجب أن يكون هو مشارك وأن تكون هناك أكشن بلان كيف نشاركه، كيف ممكن أن نشارك هذا الجيل والشباب الحقيقة في استعادة النهضة من جديد وفي إعادة الحضارة الإسلامية من جديد وفي إعادة القيم وإحياء القيم الإيمانية والإسلامية من جديد. الحقيقة يعني دائما الكلمة أيضا كانت نحن معكم، وأيضا نحن معكم في المبادرات اللي هي المنطلقة في الفضاء العام أو في الفضاء الخاص بعيدا عن الفضاءات الأكاديمية. نحن معكم يمكن أن نشارك إن شاء الله، وكل الشكر والتقدير لكم، وإن شاء الله يعني نلتقي معكم ونتحدث بالتفصيل في مثل هذه المبادرات. شكرا.
شكرا جزيلا، جزاكم الله خيرا. يعني أنا أوافق تماما. يعني this bridging is important, like this, the ideas we have, needs to be translated and put in practice and disseminated. That's why we have to write two types of books, like academic books and popular books. And recently I turned writing popular books, like the most recent book I wrote about Futuwah, like 100 pages, no footnotes, very simple, so that young people can easily read it. Richard Dawkins, he's writing popular atheist science for teenagers. Like if he's writing popular books for teenagers to spread atheism, why shouldn't he write popular books to teach religion to our youth? He used the term التجديد المؤصل، يعني بدلا من استرجاع الحضارة، يعني حضارتنا موجودة وحية وفي أزمة، يعني لذلك نحتاج التجديد المؤصل rooted revival إن شاء الله تعالى. And this civilization depends on a deen. This is what Ibn Khaldun says, and morality. And when morality is undermined, the whole civilization also is undermined, regardless how strong it is in politics or economy. This is the view I am reflecting when I emphasize the importance of safeguarding faith as the foundation of civilizational sustainability. And Islamic civilization is not for only Muslims, it's for all humanity. That's why I call Islamic civilization open civilization. Open civilization, because during the time of Sayyidina Omar, most of the citizens of the Islamic State, they were non-Muslims. So Islam came for everybody. لجميع البشر. يعني كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس إن شاء الله. And this post-truth is a threat for the whole humanity, not for Muslims alone, for the whole humanity. I can give many examples of how this post-truth ideology is destroying Western society and how it destroys the lives of people who accept this ideology. But this is not the time. Inshallah, in the future, we will be continuing discussing these things.
Okay. Yes, the gentleman right there.
Jazakallah khair, Doctor. It's always a pleasure and a privilege to listen and learn from you. I think your diagnosis is really spot on, and there's a huge need for this project for the next generation. And I love the idea that it's not just for Muslims. I think all of humanity needs this. Just one comment and one quick question, inshallah. One comment, I really want to back up what you said about science being used for atheism. I stumbled across a book recently that traces the roots of Western science, and actually it was theistic. It was believers in God through Christianity who began Western science, and there was actually a direct movement by a man called Thomas Huxley, who he set out to change the narrative about the roots of science. In terms of a question, it's maybe a little bit of a provocative question. I think your diagnosis is spot on, but I just want to push back a little bit against the idea that the Western paradigm is purely hedonistic. If it was purely hedonistic, why are they, at the minute, so much more successful than us materially? Of course, I'm not speaking about morality or anything metaphysical, but why is it that they're, why have they gotten that in a better way than we seem to have gotten so far? Jazakallah khair, Dakoor.
Thank you very much. This is a very important question. First of all, but I never used Western science. I said materialist science, because I know there are people who believe in God in the West, and they use science to defend religion. And there are foundations spending billions of dollars to prove that science and religion, they don't exclude each other. I used the example of Recep, but how he's misusing biology. But there are many other biologists, they are using biology to prove God exists. So there are physicists, who use physics to prove God doesn't exist, like this Stephen Hawking, for instance. But there are other physicists who use physics to prove God exists. So that's why I never said like Western science, and we should make alliance with those people, who are not post-truth, and to collaborate with them. And inshallah, this year we will invite some Western scholars who reject evolution. A series of Western scientists, well-respected scientists, who reject evolution, so that this idea that all scientists accept evolution, to change this image, inshallah. All Westerners think like this, so we are backward. And the second, I don't accept that we are less successful than the West, but this idea of decline is imposed on us. Look, in the First World War, two states, they were defeated, Ottoman and Germans. So they produced, the Orientalists, they produced this decline narrative and imposed on us. We said, oh, we are declined, that's why we are defeated, etc., etc. We are backward. But then, why did the Germans also produce decline discourse? Why did the Germans produce decline narrative? They said we are defeated militarily. And Sheikh al-Islam Mustafa Sabri says, Western victory is not moral victory. It's not civilizational victory. It's not cultural victory. It's a military victory. They are imperialists. They defeated us militarily. And then the solution is military victory. This is what he said. But those pro-Western intellectuals and Orientalists, they said, no, because we are backward, because our religion does not promote science, progress, etc. So I have an article titled Decline of Decline Paradigm. Inshallah, we can talk about this in great detail. I don't believe in decline, but it is like, it's so installed in our brains, it's like a dogma. Like when I say I don't believe in decline, people get shocked. As if I am like denying gravity. It's like part of education, so much. But why didn't Germans, develop and put in their curriculum this decline paradigm? They were also defeated and worse than us, in First War. So it's a narrative constructed by Orientalists and their friends, pro-Western Mustaribun inside of us, made it part of the curriculum, and now it became like a dogma. We have to critically analyze this. I don't believe we are declined, we are defeated militarily, inshallah. And with the help of Allah Ta'ala, we will overcome this.
There was a sister up there, and I think this will be the last question in the interest of time, so could you please make your question concise?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for this amazing lecture. My name is Khadija. I'm a student in Islamic Global Affairs. My question is, as we see, faith is not just a term we practice into our daily life. So all the media, videos, or music is kind of supporting us against faith. We practice unfaith, let's say, in everything, in a daily basis, in media, movie, application, everywhere. So according to this program, how are we going to hide against this unfaith while they're using all these technologies, all this propaganda in this, the digital world? Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I mentioned that you have to promote taqwa and you have to promote sunnah lifestyle. If you promote these things, these things will empower you against this siege by media. The only, I'm a sociologist, I spend all my life studying East and West everywhere, and the only point of resistance our youth and people have today is the Sunnah. If you say, I will follow the Sunnah, you are protected against all these fashionable ideas. But if you don't follow the Sunnah of Rasulullah, you have no point of resistance. You will get easily defeated. But if you say, I will follow the Sunnah, you are protected. If you say, my family will follow the Sunnah lifestyle, you are protected against all this stuff. But if you don't have such a framework, if you don't have such a reference point, then you are free floating, according to the winds of the fashion and the social media winds. You have no direction, you have no stable reference point in your life. That's why Ihya al-Sunnah al-Sahiha is very important for us to be able to immunize and protect ourselves and our families and our new generations. As I said, Iman is not just an intellectual idea. Iman is part of our life, and it must be reflected in practice.
Jazakallah khairan, Doctor. Please join me in thanking. Because I said that was the last question, but for the doctor, yes, please.
Last after last.
Okay. Sir?
Let me put a joke at the end of this session.
Yeah,
First of all, thank you very much for the invitation. It was really good, very comprehensive, very thorough. And thank you for the organizer, the Mustafa, and the participants here. We're looking at our religion as if it is something that needs to be defended. We are not realizing the strength that we all have. The Iman is there, the strength is there. The worry is about technology going to invade us. The worry is about outside information influencing us. The worry is about the kids, the next generation, are targeted. None of this is reality. It's all in our head. Our youth are strong. Our religion is very strong, spreading very fast. Our belief is there, and the proof is here, and the third question will address. The thing is this illusion that we have. And I have an example, just received it in one of the posts today. A gentleman was saying, he said, let me get this right. I go to the grocery store to buy. And a pound of sliced bread, when you buy it, is packed in a plastic bag. If you go for a juice, it's filled in a plastic bottle. If you get a jam, it's in a plastic sachet. Wherever you go is in this plastic container. But as soon as you come and you say, I want a bag to carry, they say, no, that's against the religion, against the environmental religion. Why? You're polluting the environment. So we live in all that damage that we are applying to the environment, and we have it. As soon as we come to the bag that we need to carry, we call it environment pollution. It's exactly what we're saying today here. We're talking about this aspect or this particular subject of the religion, especially the faith. And we know that it is there. I believe we need to activate this belief. We need to direct the youth. We need to create a belief in ourselves. We need to transfer the content that organizations like yourself come with into practical zone. We need to create a channel where we give chance to those who are classified as a practitioner. We need to have our own target, and this target should not be the mullah so-and-so there, or the religion so-and-so said, and Jama so-and-so said. We have Sunnah, we have Quran, we have clear direction. It's there. It's time for us to go back to the original step. Believe in ourselves and highlight our strength. And thank you very much.
Yes, I completely agree. And this belief in ourselves is under threat. This is what I'm trying to draw attention to it. And as I said, I don't believe in a decline paradigm. We did not decline. We are very strong. We are alive. But there are risks and challenges and threats. We have to immunize our body against those things. Like when you go to Umrah, when you go to Hajj, when you go to Salat al-Jum'ah, you see this dynamism. But I go to America, they are selling churches, turning into supermarkets. But what's happening there may happen here too. So we have to take measures against this, inshallah ta'ala. And I agree with everything you said. Jazakallah khairan. Shukran.
Jazakallah khairan. Please help me in thanking Dr. Recep for his contribution. So we've heard a lot. Like I said, there's a lot to think about and there's a lot to digest. But there's a call to action. We need all hands on deck. So we need youth in their prime and with their energy to break through barriers and to push boundaries. But when they achieve that first step, they will always need the wise counsel and steady hands of the older folks to mentor them, to anchor the change, and to steady the ship. That's how we make a lasting impact. So with your support, we hope that whatever positive impact the Maker Majlis makes will be felt throughout Qatar, the region, and even beyond. So basically tonight's event is not only a declaration of intention, but a crystallization of purpose. We hope you'll take this call to action to your respective spheres of influence and join us to uphold this collective responsibility to protect our youth, to preserve their faith and the faith of the planet as an amana to us all. We invite you to please enjoy the refreshments that are outside this auditorium, right through these doors on my left. Thank you and good night. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sabika.
Yeah, it's off. That was the best thing.